there's a couple different aspects of how it began. Stecker Financial Group how we met is different than how we started working with teachers and how we got primarily into the nonprofit marketplace. And they're both good stories. How we started working with teachers mainly was because of my sister. I didn't want to be gone from the house in the evenings, and I wanted to do more day work because I had a young daughter who's now 21. And someone said to me, you know, the 403Bs are mainly work with teachers, and teachers are there during the day, and they can meet with you during their planning time, which is when you want to be working. So I called my sister, who just happened to be a teacher, and she said, if you want to meet teachers and explain the financial, world to them, bring food. Come at lunchtime. So that's what we did. We started buying $10 pizzas, which we barely had back then, had them cut it into as many small pieces as we could, and we took it in, we called the school, said we're coming in, we're bringing free food, and back then the school said, okay, free food's good, and we would meet teachers that way.
And where did it go from there? And how long did it take? And when did you hire someone else? And when did you make a formal group and Mike start talking?
Well, my aunt was actually a teacher in Delaware for 40 years, and I started talking to her about their retirement system, and we wound up doing the same thing in Delaware and Maryland as far as hitting people with all their senses. You got to, if you feed them, they will come, so to speak. So in Delaware, we actually then sought a endorsement from the teachers union, which we gained 2 or 3 years after we started. And currently, we also we now have a national endorsement through a company called Security Benefit with the National Education Association. So it morphed from not really having any experience in the marketplace at all to actually having an endorsement from the union that the teachers all belong to.
And how many teachers are your customers? I repeat my question because they can't hear me.
How many teacher customers do we have?
Yeah, then say it in a way that's going to work for the camera.
Clients.
We have lots. I want to say something else.
Go ahead. And then remember, you've got this guy too.
Well, Mike's explanation and my explanation, it's interesting that they're slightly different because at that point that was before we met. So that's why I said it's different how Stecker Financial Group started, which is the two of us, or was the two of us, and then branched out, and how the whole nonprofit 403B working with teachers and educators started. We both were doing that before we met, which is pretty interesting. Me from working with my sister and talking to her to get introductions, Mike with his aunt, and then we actually we met a number of different times because we were working in the same office. Mm-hmm. So Mike came into my office one day and said that he did work in Cecil County with the teachers, and he was working with teachers, and I was working in Cecil County with teachers. He was doing more work in Delaware, and I was doing more work in Maryland. I started completely in Cecil County. I had no aspirations to even mess with Delaware. I was doing, Cecil County was enough for me. I was working part-time. I had my 20 people that it took to get in back there. In the very beginning, you had to sign up 20 people for a tax-sheltered annuity to be able to be a vendor for the school system. And it took me forever to get my original 20 people. I would get 18, and then somebody would say, oh, if you're not going to be able to start those payroll deductions this week, then I'm going to have to go with another company because I really want to get it started. I would beg them, please wait, because I'm trying to get my other 3, I promise. I finally got my 20, I got in, and that was before I met Mike. That was my story. So little did I know that there was this really awesome guy that was doing the same thing in Delaware, and that we would eventually meet, and it would just explode. So Now we have what? We have the eastern shore of Maryland, all of Delaware. We're up into Pennsylvania. We're talking about New Jersey. We've got 2 full-time licensed guys that work with us now that have been here for 2 years, and another new one that's starting this year. So I never dreamed in the beginning when I started taking pizzas into school that I would have other people that I'm explaining to them how I did it and what worked and what the teachers really need to hear. I had no idea that it would spread to that.
And Michael, your reflections on it?
Well, it's really what's made the difference is the service after the initial transaction, because there's a lot of other people in the game, but we have found that because of the services that we offer and our in-house customer service staff, full-time dedicated staff, the interesting thing about our business is that most people that are in the business, no matter what company they are with, and we are truly independent, even though that company may be known as a large company, they are sole practitioners. They don't invest in infrastructure for their business as we have. Therefore, we're able to provide a much higher level of service. Our service platform came from my experience at Disney and from going through Disney's management school. And we have found that because we provide paramount service, we are actually able to gain a much larger market share much quickly. And the important thing is not only have we gained that market share, but we've become a household name and we've been able to retain those clients. And currently we're dealing in a lot of cases with 2 or 3 different generations within families, which to me in business, the highest form of flattery is actually when a parent refers you to their child or brother to sister, or somebody's parent dies and they call you to help with their estate and the family wealth.
Yeah, the service model is huge. That's what we've built the whole thing on. Like Mike said, when he came in and he had this wonderful service background, and I had also done customer service before, we both had this push to get back to people right away, answer their questions, make sure they fully understood what they were doing. In the beginning, when we had no money to hire a staff and it was just me, one of the reasons it worked out really well was because after the first year of working together, we decided we were going to segment what we were going to do, and I was going to work fully on customer service and taking care of the people that we'd already signed up, making sure that their questions were answered, and Mike was going to be the only one that was out on the road. And I think that has really enabled us to provide the service that was needed. It's very difficult to provide the service to the people that you've already signed up and that you've made promises to if you're out on the road signing up new people. So from very close to the beginning of Stecker Financial Group, we had a dedicated person, which was me back then, to make sure that anyone who called in got an answer immediately, anyone who needed to change the amount they were putting in, or